Greetings, welcome back to another video here on this channel. Today I'm going to be discussing Toradora, the anime. I'm not going to be going into a very detailed sort of review of it because I feel like there's been a lot of other people far better at doing this than me that have already done that. So I'm just going to kind of go and give my sort of opinion on it, my review, and discuss maybe if we have time sort of the rumors surrounding a season 2. So Toradora is a slice of life anime surrounding say a group of 4 or 5 friends in high school. So it's a slice of life anime, right? And these two sort of main characters, Ryuji and Taiga Aisaka. And they sort of figure out in the beginning that they're neighbors. They sort of Ryuji lives in this small little maybe 2-family home, and Aisaka lives in a big apartment complex literally right next to Ryuji's house, and their balconies sort of kind of line right up with each other. So it makes for a very interesting dynamic. People think they're in a relationship in the beginning when they're not. It just makes for a very interesting dynamic. And Aisaka goes over to Ryuji's house for dinner pretty much every night, yada yada yada, all that stuff. It's very fun and it's very entertaining to watch. And by the end it sort of just grabs you in and sort of you don't want to let go. You just kind of want to keep watching. And the feelings that Ryuji and Taiga sort of evolve for each other throughout the show, you kind of feel connected to the two of them. Not just the two of them, but also the other 3 main protagonists of the series. And in the 3rd or 4th to last episode, Ryuji and Taiga finally realize that they both have feelings for each other, and they decide to run away and get married. And it's sort of a very happy moment because you realize that the two of them have a thing between each other, but they don't want to admit that each of them have feelings for the other. So when they finally realize that the two of them are the perfect match for each other, they want to sort of develop those feelings. And then in the 2nd to last episode, I didn't want to watch the final 2 episodes because, especially the final episode, that's when Taiga she decides to go live back with her mother and transfers out of Ryuji's school, which is kind of sad because after this whole thing that they went through and professing their love for each other and deciding to run away and get married, it's sort of heartbreaking in a way because all of this time you're happy that they sort of got together and are now possibly starting a new life together. This happens and you sort of feel bad for Ryuji and everyone else because the 3 other main protagonists in the show realize that Ryuji and Taiga have a thing, and they sort of try to stop at nothing to make sure the two of them have a happy life together. And then all of a sudden that happens, and then the final minute and a half to 2 minutes of the final episode are probably the most bittersweet ever. We see with Ryuji the outline of Taiga's hair, and this is after she transferred out maybe at the beginning of the previous school year or the current school year that they're in. So they're all at the end of the school year, or maybe the beginning of their new school year. I don't know. I was too involved in the story. I wasn't really, focused on anything else really. But you see them probably at the beginning of the next school year or at the end, like I mentioned. And we see the empty classroom of 2C, which is the one that they spent their time in. And we see in the window, along with Ryuji, Taiga's hair. She's sort of against the window looking into the classroom. So we see the back of her head, and Ryuji gets this idea to run up there, and because there was one episode where they both were going to say they loved each other, but then they got interrupted, and I guess they never really kind of got around to saying it. Ryuji realizes he has an opportunity and bolts to classroom to see, only to find that Taiga's not there. And you start to wonder if it was all just a part of his imagination. But then he opens up the closet in the back of the room. It's sort of like a locker, and Taiga's there. And the last bit of dialogue is Ryuji telling Taiga he loves her. And that right there it's sort of a sweet moment. It ends on a positive note, and that's where it ends. The credits roll from there. And now, even though it's been 12 years after the final episode has aired, or maybe just about 12 years exactly, there's rumors going around that Toradora is getting a second season. Now, after being so popular on Netflix and also other popular anime streaming services like Funimation and Crunchyroll, there's talks of it getting a second season. I really hope it does. I don't really care if it takes place right after they confess the love for each other, Taiga and Ryuji, or if it takes place a few years after when they're both out of high school, maybe in college or out of college or something. I mean, it has been 12 years, so, maybe they could sort of do something along those lines. But hopefully the rumors aren't just rumors. Hopefully there's a little bit of truth to them, and there is possibly some extension to Toradora that fans have been wanting. Now, if ReZero can get a second season after about 8 years of not having a second season, I'm really hopeful that Toradora can get a second season after 12 years. It's popular enough, and it's garnered enough, again, popularity, sort of redundant, I know. And even look at Fruits Basket. If after 20 years, almost, of the show's original airing of the first season, can get a reboot and 2 seasons, there's certainly hope for a Toradora season 2. So with that, I will leave you guys, and I will see you in the next video. And until then, peace.